Okay, we have discussed the first law. Okay, so in first law, a body is at rest. So in first law, we have discussed if a body is at rest, it remains at rest unless a force is applied on it. Similarly, if body is in motion, it will keep on moving with the same speed. It will keep on moving with the same speed in the same direction, such that the velocity remains constant. So velocity remains constant. That is, body in motion remains in motion with the same speed in same direction unless a force is applied. So to change the velocity, to change the state, we require force. This is our first law. So force is required to change the state of a body. This is clear. This is first law. So force is required to change the state. This is first law. So this state can be changed. This change in state can be either from rest to motion or in motion, motion to rest, or change in speed or direction. So any change in state, a force is required. This is our first law. First law. So it is qualitatively we can say change in state, we require force. To change the state of a body, we require force. This is our first law. So today we will try to analyze and find how the force is related to change in state. Qualitatively, we discuss in first law. Quantitatively, we discuss in second law, how it is related to the quantities. Okay. So, for example, we are having okay, two bodies, okay, of different mass. So, we are having two bodies of different mass. I draw it bigger. So, we are having two bodies of different masses. Okay, they are moving with same velocity v. They are moving with same velocity v. Two bodies of different mass moving with same velocity. Now we need to stop them. We need to stop both the bodies in the given time, in the same time. So force applied on first body will be more. So F1 force will be more as compared to F2 force. So we have to stop the first body, we have to apply force, that will be F1. Second body, we require to apply the force F2. Now, how they are related? F1 force applied on the first body will be more as compared to applied on the second body to stop both the bodies in the same given time. So what I want to say is, if more the mass of the body, we have to apply more force to stop the body in the same given time. For example, you have a truck and a car. Okay, both are moving with same velocity. Both are moving with same velocity. Now we need to stop both of them in the same time. So force required to stop the truck will be more as compared to stop the car. We have to stop both the bodies in the same time. So force required to stop the truck will be more as compared to the car. This is clear. So force is directly proportional to the mass of the body. So more the mass of the body, more force is required. This is clear. More the mass of the body, more force is required. Or now if we take the body with the same mass, okay, we are taking the body with the same mass. Now they are moving with different velocity. This is moving with v1, this is v2, where v1 is greater than v2. Now force required to stop the body with the more the velocity, more the force will be required to stop it. This is clear. Bodies having the same mass, and we have to stop both the bodies in the same given time. Then force required for the first body will be more as compared to the second body, because velocity of first body is much larger as compared to the second body, or velocity for the first body is greater than as compared to the second body. So same mass, but different velocity will require different force. So more the velocity, more the force is required. More the velocity, more force is required to stop the body. So here we can take
Sir, if the mass of the second body is greater than first, then
okay, we'll be discussing that one. So in the first case we have discussed more mass, more force is required. Okay, and here we have assumed that both the bodies are moving with same velocity. That assumption we have made. So more the mass, more force is required to stop the body. This is clear. More the mass, more force is required. More velocity, more force is required. So here you can take example of two cars. One is moving with 5 meter per second. Other car is moving with 10 meter per second. So here the force required to stop the second car as compared to the first car is more as compared to the first car. In the same given time, you have to stop the car. So more the velocity, more force. More the mass, more force required. Okay. So force required to stop the car. It depends on which quantities. Anyone in class? So force applied in a given time. So we are applying a force in a given time, force required in a given time to stop the car, to stop the body. It depends on two quantities, that is mass and velocity.
Velocity.
So to change the state of the body, a force is applied for some time and that force applied for some time. It depends on mass and velocity. Or we can say this force depends on product of mass and velocity. So force required to stop a body in a given time, or force required to state of a body in a given time. It depends on the product of mass and velocity. Product of mass and velocity of the body. This is clear? Or we can say the force required in a given time. It depends on momentum of a body. And what is a momentum? It's a quantity that defines the motion of a body. It's a quantity that defines the motion of a body. Motion of a body. So momentum of a body is a quantity which defines the motion of a body. And motion of a body denoted by its mass and velocity. So momentum we denote with P and it is proportional to, it is equal to mass into velocity. It depends, it is product of mass and body, mass and velocity of the body. So momentum of a body is nothing but product of mass and the velocity of the body. This is clear. And here it is linear momentum since we are taking one direction only. Okay, linear momentum. Yes, any doubt?
Yes, sir.
Do ask.
Sir, in that velocity, why we don't put an arrow above it, that above
Okay,
V?
see here. This is the correct notation, but here we already know, and for simplification only we avoided that one. Okay, but it is understood. This is vector. This is vector. They all are vectors. Okay, but just for simplification we have avoided. Okay, it is understood they all are vectors. So P equal to m into v. V is vector, momentum as well is vector. This is linear momentum. This is clear. So we have discussed linear momentum and force required to stop a body, or so force needed to stop a moving body in a definite time. In a particular time, it depends on product of the mass and velocity of the body. This is clear. So linear momentum is defined as m into v, and force required to stop the body in a given time depends on this linear momentum, depends on the momentum of the body. And what does momentum mean? It expresses the motion of the body, expresses the motion. Momentum, it expresses the motion of a body, and how the motion we denote it mass and velocity, product of mass and velocity. Motion we define with the velocity. More the mass, so for example, body is having more mass and more velocity. Then we say it is having, so momentum is defined by the mass and velocity of the body. Both expresses the motion of a body. This is clear. So having a truck and a car, both are moving with the same velocity, which will have more momentum. The truck will have more momentum since it has more mass. So momentum depends on mass and velocity. And momentum is equal to product of mass and velocity. And it is a vector quantity.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
So greater the mass, greater the momentum.
Yes, greater the mass, greater the
And sir,
momentum.
what about velocity?
Okay, if
Masses
more
are
the
equal
velocity,
and velocities are
okay,
different.
car. Okay, same car we are taking. Now, this is having more velocity compared to this one. Okay, so first car will have more. Okay, so you will require force to stop which car more? More force will be required to stop the first car. That means it was having more momentum. It was having more momentum. So first car will have more momentum. You can as well calculate momentum equal to mass into velocity. Put the mass and velocity for each car and calculate. You'll get the more momentum for the first car. It will be having more momentum. So we'll require more force to stop the first car as compared to the second car. Because
Sir, but
first car
if
is
the mass of second car is more and velocity of it is less, then
less. That will depend on the final what is the result will come. Okay. Product of the mass and velocity we have to do, and whichever comes more. For whichever comes more, we require more force to stop that car in the same time.
okay, sir.
Okay, it depends on product of mass and velocity. Okay, it may be possible both comes to be equal. Even the mass and velocity are different. Okay. Sorry. Okay, now we're discussing change in momentum. Okay, so till now we have discussed momentum equal to mass into velocity. Now, how the change in momentum can take place? How the change in momentum can take place? Either there can be change in mass changes, momentum changes, velocity changes, momentum changes, or both changes, or both changes. Now, so change we denote with delta. Small change in any quantity we denote with this symbol delta. Del or delta it is called. So delta P equal to delta MV. So either the mass changes or the velocity changes or both changes. Now see here, majorly what happens if mass remains constant. If mass remains constant, then we can say change in momentum is this one. That is mass remains constant. So change in momentum is mass into change in velocity. This is our change in momentum. This is clear. And this holds true for when the velocity of a body, it is very less than the speed of light. Because see here, when we have sorry, if we are having body such as very small body, atomic particles, if we are having atomic particles, their speed changes. Their speed changes if they are moving with a speed comparable to speed of light. They are nearly moving with the speed of light. That is very near to the speed of light. If these particles are moving, there will be change in mass as well. How the mass change take place? See here. Mass
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
So can you tell once more that for what the delta symbol is used?
Okay, see here. This symbol is used to represent change. Any change that is taking place will represent with delta. Okay, and it represents a very small change in the quantity. Delta usually represents very small change. So momentum equal to mass into velocity. Now, if you have to represent change in momentum, so change in momentum equal to change in momentum is delta p.
Delta P.
Delta p means momentum is changing. That is, initially some momentum was there. After some time there was some other momentum. Okay, so momentum has how much this change has taken place. Okay, we subtracted from final the initial. That change is delta p. And how we represented it? We represented it either the change in mass or in velocity. So mass initially it was m1, now it m2. So change in mass can happen. Similarly, change in velocity can happen. In both it can happen. Either one of the quantity changes or the both quantity changes. This is clear. So representing with delta. Okay. Now see here, if majorly mass remains constant, majorly mass, so change in momentum is due to change in velocity. Majorly change in momentum happens due to change in velocity. Mass remains constant. So we can denote this equation as delta p equal to m into delta v. This is clear. So change in momentum is taking place due to change in velocity. Okay. Here we have taken mass as constant.
And sir,
Because
it
see
is
here,
not. Sir, and every time only mass is constant. Velocity can't be. It can't happen. Velocity is constant and is increasing.
Sir, it can happen.
Can it happen?
if we take the rocket, yes, it can happen. Okay, you take one example, like you are on the truck and it is fully loaded. It is moving with the same velocity. You start throwing the things out, and it
Excuse
maintains
me,
its
sir.
speed constant. Yes, or the rocket.
Sir, what happened
Yes,
about physics lab manual?
physics lab manual. See, I'm not well these days, so I'm staying at home only. So
Okay, sir.
you have to wait till Thursday. Rest, you do all the work, complete all the work. Putting the readings, it will take around 5 or 10 minutes, not more than that, or 20 minutes maybe. So by Wednesday, I will take the lab manual. Okay. Or if I'm well today in evening a little bit, I will go and take. Okay. So by Thursday, you will get that lab manual. Okay. So majorly mass remains constant. One example I can give you, the rocket. You know, it continuously adjusts the gases. The gases, the O2 and other gases, they are being continuously burnt. So its mass continuously decreases. As you go up in the air, its mass continuously decreases because the fuel is continuously decreasing. This is clear? See here, this is when mass remains constant. This equation holds true when mass remains constant. So we are having one condition, that is mass must be constant for this equation to hold true. This is clear? Now see here. When does the mass change? When does the mass change? See here, majorly if we deal with the atomic particles, they are very, very small particles having very small mass. Now, if they move, these atomic particles, if they move with the velocity comparable to the speed of light, that is 3 into 10 raised to power 8 meter per second. So no particle can ever have the speed greater than this speed. So if comparable, nearly equal to this one, that is 10 raised to power 7 meter per second or something like that, if the particle moves. then the mass as well changes. The mass as well changes. So as the velocity increases, as the particle's velocity increases, as the velocity of the particle increases, the mass as well increases. Okay, how we can see it now? Okay, so for example, see it here. If velocity is increasing, that means 1 minus v upon c whole square. It will be decreasing if velocity is increasing. If velocity is increasing, that means this whole quantity, it will be decreasing. That means the denominator is decreasing. Therefore, mass is increasing. So as velocity increases, as the particle of the velocity increases, the mass increases. This is clear. And this velocity is never equal to speed of light. So it will never be 0. This is clear. But most of the body we deal each day, their velocity is much less than velocity of light. This velocity is very much less than. So if we do the calculation, it comes up to be 0 point something, or we can say 1 minus v upon c the whole square. It is nearly equal to 1. And mass is same as m naught. What does m naught denotes? It denotes the mass of the particle when velocity is 0. M naught denotes the mass of the particle when its velocity is 0. It is at rest. M naught is the mass of the particle when the particle is at rest. And how the mass changes? If velocity increases, the mass of the particle increases. And every day, the bodies which we deal, their velocity is much less than the speed of light. Therefore, this is near. Therefore, mass always we take it as constant, what is at rest. This is clear?
Sir, why the velocity of light is represented by alphabet C?
It's a small c. Okay, I don't know why it is. I have to go through that. But usually we have been representing with c. There's some reason maybe. I'll search and tell you that one. See, we denote the speed of light with c. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Any more doubts you have?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, can you solve a numerical based on this formula?
No, I won't solve. Why do we require to solve? We'll see that one later. Okay. Okay, we'll see that one. You can take example of C here. Okay, here we can take example of rocket. It will be complicated to solve it. Okay, the mass will be changing of subatomic particle. Okay, next time we'll see. I find one numerical and we'll see. I'll show you that.
So then, sir, this formula is important.
This formula, see here. This we already discussed. M naught root of 1 minus V upon C square. Here for time being, just to have an idea that how the mass changes when velocity changes. Okay, but in our syllabus we'll be dealing only with mass remains constant, whatever speed, because our body will be having always speed less than 10 raised to power 6. Whatever body we have, they will always have the speed less than 10 raised to power 6. We won't be dealing even with such high speed. So we won't be requiring this one, because if the speed is very less than as compared to even this value, this comes out to be nearly equal to 1. Therefore, whatever mass of the body at any speed, that will be same as the mass of the body at rest, since velocity is very less as compared to the speed of light.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, now you said that if mass is constant, then only this momentum equation comes true. So that means that there is no momentum for the particles which are moving more than the speed of light.
There is this equation. This equation is for any particle. But what we did, we made it more simple, like saying that mass remains constant. These equations hold true only when mass is constant. Mass is constant. Here, there can be change in mass, there can be change in velocity. But we have simplified it, saying that mass remains constant, so we can take it out. So this equation holds true only when mass is constant. This equation is for any body. Is this clear, the difference? So from this equation, we have done a little bit more simplification. Is this clear now?
So what you have written that
Mass is constant. For this equation to hold true,
this formula.
mass is constant. Which formula? This one. See here, this momentum, change in momentum, delta P. So delta mv. So change in momentum can happen if mass changes, velocity changes, or both changes. Or if mass is constant. So this is the condition. If mass is constant, then delta P, you can take mass out because there is no change in mass. So change in momentum is change in velocity, is taking place due to change in velocity since mass is constant. So when there is a condition such that mass is constant, then momentum can be written as change in momentum can be written as mass into change in velocity. Okay. Now we'll be discussing this one, rate of change of momentum. So see here, for example, a body is there. Okay, a body of mass m. Okay, we are having body of mass m. It is initially moving with velocity u. Initially moving with a velocity u. Now a force is applied for t time. Now a force is applied for t time, and during this time its velocity has changed to v. Okay. Now after t time the force F is removed. So now the body will always move with velocity v. This is Newton's first law. So here force is applied and its velocity changes from u to v in t time. So force was applied for t seconds or t time and velocity has changed from u to v. This was initial velocity, this was final velocity. So initial momentum is what? T I am denoting. It will be m into u.
MV.
This is small p. Okay, is mv. Okay, if I say change in momentum,
MV minus
change in
MU.
momentum, delta p. That is final minus initial.
Initial.
MV
MV
minus
minus MU.
mu, or m we can take common, v
V
minus.
minus U.
This is change in momentum. Okay. Now this change has taken in how much time? T. At what rate momentum was changing? So rate change in momentum per time. That will be how much? That will be rate of change of momentum. So at what rate the momentum is changing? Rate of change in momentum. That means delta P upon delta T we can put. The change in time is delta T, or T it has taken. T only it has taken. Okay. So in T time, the momentum has changed. So it will be, equation will be m v minus u upon t. Do you remember something? V minus u upon t is what?
Acceleration formula.
Acceleration. Okay. So this is equal to m into a. So rate of change in momentum is depending on or is proportional to product of mass and is equal to rate of change in momentum is equal to product of
Mass and acceleration.
acceleration produced in the body by force F in t time. So rate of change in momentum is equal to product of mass and acceleration produced in the body. Acceleration is change in velocity per unit time. At rate of change of velocity is acceleration.
Excuse
This is
me,
clear?
sir.
Yes.
So that means the rate of change of momentum is equal to force applied.
Yes, we'll be going with that. It is force applied. We'll be deriving that equation, sir. So go through it once, rate of change of momentum. If you have any doubt. So rate of change of momentum is equal to the product of mass and acceleration produced in the body. And what is required to produce the acceleration? Change in velocity. And for having the change in velocity, we require the force. So force has to be applied to produce acceleration in the body. So you go through the rate of change in momentum of body is equal to the product of the mass of the body and acceleration produced in it due to that force. Okay. And here, what is the condition? Mass remains constant. Mass remains constant because change in momentum, change in velocity only we are discussing. So this holds true for mass remains constant. So there is a condition, always remember this condition, mass is constant here. We have considered mass is constant here. Okay, this is clear. Alternative method you can do yourself. That is easy. That is easy. P equal to mv. Change in momentum, change in this one, upon in t time, upon t time. And mass is constant, then delta P upon T, or delta T you can take. Mass take out delta V upon T. This is acceleration. Okay. Or you can take it as delta T as well, it is fine. That is change in time. How much change in time? This is clear?